I just don't want to take a break from caring because I don't want to rebound. I don't want to gain any weight back. But I don't want my stomach to hurt. I don't want my head to hurt. And so that's what keeps me kind of on the straight and narrows because I feel so good when I'm on track. And I understand taking a break from caring. I do. It's just having to get back is so hard.
I'm Cristy Code Red, and you're listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, where we believe food holds the power to heal or poison, and we believe our society has been misled regarding proper nutrition and weight loss. You're in the right place if you're looking for some straight up truth, because I'm here to shed light on the lies and brainwashing that has taken place over the past 5 decades. Thanks so much for listening.
Welcome back to another episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. I'm your host, Cristy Code Red, author, entrepreneur, retired professional boxer. And I haven't officially called Carrie my co-host. Of course, I'm not going to call her my co-host unless she wants to pay half of the bill it takes to. No, she doesn't want to. Okay.
I'm okay just being the occasional guest host.
Well, either way, we love coming to you and doing this. It really is like our favorite thing to do. We love to podcast. We fit in times to record. We try to batch record episodes for you. And we hope that this brings hope and healing to you. We hope it makes you laugh. We hope it gives you some food for thought. And today, wow, I know it's going to really hit home because today's episode, when we had the conversation, it really, I had no idea. I had no idea until Carrie said it. You guys, we're talking about taking a break from caring.
Cristy, this has come up recently for us as a company. And we have known lots of rebels
Fallen.
that have done this. Yeah, lots of rebels that have done this. And in all 100% transparency, I have done this in my life. And Cristy has done it. And it's going to be different. I'm looking off to the side to hopefully, so I'll appear thoughtful. It's going to be different for different people and different circumstances, the depth to which you quit caring. But a lot of us go through it. And I don't think that Cristy and I had really put a name to it before we kind of started having this conversation. Would you say that's probably right?
Yeah. And let me give you guys some context on what we're talking about. The fallen rebels, the rebels who have left the community and have gained back some or all of their weight or more of their weight. We call them fallen rebels. And we love you guys. First of all, we love you. We want you to come back. There's no judgment. There's no shame. I'm actually working on a program as we speak to try to get the fallen rebels back because I know you want to come back and I know you're full of so much guilt and shame. So Carrie and I are constantly, us and the coaches, we're always in conversation to try to figure out why people fell, why the rebels fell, why they gained their weight back, what happened, where we went wrong. Was it sabotage? Was it this? Was it that? And Carrie says, because for those of you who don't know, Carrie has lost and kept over 100 pounds off for over 10 years. And so she knows how that feels to be obese and to get the weight off and then to fluctuate. I have been overweight as well, but not as that much, but I have been overweight. It was a lot for me and I fluctuate as well. And so we were trying to put a name to it. And Carrie said, I can tell you that for me, and I know what people are feeling is because you know what? I just want to take a break from caring. And I went, take a break from caring.
It is for me. Let me describe what it was like for me. So being a heavy person, being in not a healthy relationship, we were going to go on a cruise together and I was heavy. And I remember the stress of being heavy. It's very stressful to be overweight. Don't let anyone tell you it isn't because you think about it. It's on your mind.
Well, describe a little bit to us what it's like being overweight.
It's sort of like you sit down in the car and you look down at your thighs and you think, this is just me. You're so fat, Carrie. Why can't you get it together? You go to get clothes on and you hate yourself. You can't find something to wear. You think your hair and makeup looks pretty, but you don't want to look at the rest of your body. So it's this, and that's a very little sliver. Like I got out of the shower, I dry off really quick, and then I walk out of the bathroom so I don't have to look at myself in the mirror. Yeah, I totally get this. And that is a very quick kind of pared down version of what it's like. But I will tell you this, that it is emotionally exhausting to be consumed by your weight all the time. And I would make even though I wasn't making positive choices, Cristy, back then when I was heavy, I still was consumed by it. It doesn't go away. The people that say I'm 350 and I love myself, trust me, they're still thinking about the way they look and the way that they function, how hard it is to get you lean down and get your shoes on and off, how much it hurts when the pants cut into your. So trust me, it affects you whether you love yourself at 350 pounds or not. So it's so exhausting that I remember setting out and saying, we're getting ready to go on this cruise and I am going to take a break from carrying. Now, I didn't say it like that, but I kind of just had both middle fingers up to the world, to myself, to the mirror. I see a lot of people in society doing this now. Nobody's talking about it in this way. And then I would just say, I'm not going to think about what I look like. I'm not going to think about what I'm eating. I am going to do whatever I want, what's ironic about this, Cristy, is that I was pretty much doing whatever I wanted anyway, which is why I was 270 pounds. It's not like I was 140 towing the line. And then I was like, but this happens on all levels. So I'm going to take this break on this cruise. I'm going to do whatever I want. And I'm not going to think about the consequences of those actions. I'm going to take an emotional break from being so obsessed with the way I look all the time and what I'm eating and how that's affecting my health. And I remember going just face first into the food on this cruise for 7 days. And Cristy, I was miserable physically because I ate so much the entire time. So that is one example of a person, me being heavy, that is completely taking a break from carrying on that level at that moment. Now, I was still miserable. I still knew I was fat. That didn't go away. None of that changed. But it was a weird, and Cristy had never heard of it I think Cristy's never been morbidly obese. So I know she hasn't been. So for her to understand it, it's a little bit different for her. She can still maybe use the F word, fat, if she wants to. We'll let her, former fatties like myself could let her do that.
And I think about as you're talking, I'm just picturing in my mind, because obviously I've known you my whole life. So I knew you back then. I've known you through all the phases. And gosh, I didn't even know, by the way, on a side note, that you were so miserable. I had no idea, because on the outside, you were so happy, and you didn't let your size stop you from moving around and taking care of your kids and doing whatever. Like you muscled through it, but I didn't know yours. But I was trying to think, okay, so have I taken a break from not caring? Yes, I have. I have taken a break from not caring for sure. And I know that feeling. And now for me, it's a little different. Although as I get older and as I think I've been doing Code Red. I've had the Code Red lifestyle for almost 10 years now, but 6 years the way that you guys knew it, because there were a lot of years, the lean years, that I didn't know what I was doing. And I was just kind of sitting in the basement of a building, had a little office. I didn't really know what I was doing. So there were a lot of years that I was kind of not really doing much because I didn't understand how to use the internet and stuff. And I didn't know how to run a business. So I really wasn't effectively running it, but I still knew how to get weight off of people. So I think I've been in the spotlight for many years with my boxing career, with my MTV show, with my magazine covers, with the different sponsorships. I had a sponsorship with Red Bull. I had a sponsorship with Miller Lite during my boxing days. So I was in the spotlight, and then we were in the spotlight even as kids, singing in church, so we've always been up in front of people and stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, I do know what it feels like to always be judged, which is totally actually fine with me. I signed up for it. I'm perfectly fine I am being judged all the time, everywhere I go. And I'm okay with that. I signed up for it. I'm okay with that. I don't mind that. but have been times where I just want to hide I have wanted to hide in a bathroom stall with my feet up on the toilet, eating a Danish, to where nobody knew. And I just didn't want to care. I just wanted to let because I hold myself everywhere I go. I got to have my head on a swivel. I got to put on my best self forward, just make sure I'm on my best behavior, that everything I do, I'm minding my P's and Q's, and it wears it. Not so much anymore, but it used to really wear on me, always having to walk that straight and narrow. And so I have done that, wanting to take a break from caring. But in my case, it's maybe one meal or one day. It's not 6 months.
Well, there's a big difference. And that is, I think, what we have to unpack today was the difference between saying I'm at goal and we're going to go to Taco Bell and have a great time, and then I will deal with the consequences later. That's a small version of stopping caring. That is a manageable. We don't promote that just because that food is so inflammatory. Sure. But hey, I've had those moments. Christy's had, I don't think Christy eats Taco Bell, but those moments of that kind of idea. Like, bring the fried pickles and the Caesar salad, Betty. Yeah, I'm having both tonight. I want that bread at the, at the steakhouse. I want, that's my choice in that moment. But we're talking about a major stepping away. And Cristy, what I have noticed in the almost 5 years that I've worked for you, August will be 5 years. Can you believe that? Is, and this is not about any specific person. So I do not want people to be, well, I don't care if you get upset. If you get upset, you get upset. But people that have stepped away, I'm not talking about anyone. I'm going to tell you in general what I have noticed. I have noticed in general, when people step down from our team, that could be being a coach. That could be being, we used to call them leaders. Now they're mentors. We used to have senior leaders. We've had all sorts of names, but now, as the time of this recording, there are coaches and there are mentors. Mentors are people that have mastered the program, that are working with us to help encourage rebels in their journey. And
like assistant coaches.
Yeah. And coaches, of course, they have all of Cristy's information downloaded into them. So
yeah, they've been certified.
People that have stepped down that have been in customer service, Cristy, because we always hire within. What I have noticed is that they say to me, number one, we're going to stay connected. And they don't. I've seen a few, and I will say I've seen a few over the 5 years I've been with Cristy, but I have. I mean, I'll never say always and never, because it's
maybe handful.
Cristy says always and never. And
I try not to.
I always cringe when she says always and never.
Yeah.
She knows I love her. Anyway. Okay. So a handful of people who have stayed connected. That's what they say. Number one. Number two is I just need, to reevaluate. I need a break. And Cristy, I think they want to stop caring for a while. Mm-hmm. And I get that. But there's a big difference between, again, Cristy and I stop at Taco Time over there at Boise, and each of us getting a burrito and being like, woo! Big difference between that and cognitively doing what I did on that cruise, where you say, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do what I want, and consequences be damned. I don't care what happens next. And we had a situation more recently than further away, where, come to find out, the person that stepped away had it kind of planned not to care anymore. And I said to Cristy, boy, I'm telling you what that person's doing. They're doing what I did on the cruise. They're planning to go face first, because it's so exhausting for them to try to stay on track for some reason, because of other things going on in their life. Not because the Code Red lifestyle is hard, because Cristy and I both say it's an easy lifestyle. But you have to learn how to do maintenance. If you're always trying to lose weight, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You can't live like that. Mm-hmm. So that's what this person was always trying to do. But anyway, very, very interesting. There are definitely different levels of not caring.
I was sitting on last Saturday at Chris and Sybil Gethin live in the North End, and I went over to their house to borrow some camping gear. And I was sitting at their kitchen table visiting with them. And I was talking to Chris. I can share, a lot of things with him. He's just such a good friend of mine. And I said to him, my rebels who have my fallen rebels. My heart is aching. And Chris said, yeah, we in the bodybuilding industry, we call it rebounding. And I said, rebounding. Now I was in the bodybuilding industry for years, for like the last 20 years. And I maybe I had heard this and I didn't quite put it together, or maybe I really hadn't heard it before. And I said, rebounding. He goes, oh yeah. He said, after they get done with the bodybuilding show, they will go just off the rails and eat whatever they want. And he said, in the industry, we'll say things like, yeah, he rebounded hard, or she did not rebound very hard. And I said, well, what would be a hard rebound? He said, it's very common to watch guys who have trained for 16 weeks solid leading up to this show, 4 months solid, with perfect on their diet, perfect on their macros, perfect in the bodybuilding world, on their workouts and everything, gain back and ruin all of their progress in 1 week of rebounding.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, and I almost fell off my chair when I said, he goes, 1 week, eat back all the weight they lost, all the body fat. Like they go crazy. They rebound so hard. And I was like, oh, he goes, after a bodybuilding show, because you walk on stage pretty dehydrated, you're going to put some weight back on just from getting rehydrated, but not 40 pounds. Like it's not that kind of,
Wow.
And I didn't know that was such a hard thing, because they're so incredibly strict. Like really, really like a level that you and I it's a very hardcore level. We don't do that to our rebels. We're hard on them, but it's a lifestyle that's very doable. The bodybuilding lifestyle, whole different ball game. But he said they can put back on everything that they worked for 4 months to get their body, and then lose it all in a week.
And maybe, Cristy, they can work so hard those 4 months, knowing that they get to do whatever they want once they get done.
Right.
Maybe that's it. Maybe
they certainly take a break from caring, and yes. It's fine. Like I've done 3 bodybuilding shows. After those shows, I remember specifically eating pizza and ice cream. Of course, I was sicker than the dog because I ate way too much, way too quick, and I hadn't had any of that stuff. And then I didn't do it after that night. And that was back in, 2002. And so that was 20 years ago. And that's just the way because that's kind of what all the bodybuilders were doing after the show. Everybody was going out to eat. And I had my husband, Jason, and he was so proud of me. And I was with my little trophy, and we I got to have whatever I wanted, as a reward. But I was so much younger then. That was a whole different mentality and different ball game back then. But I will say that just recently I went camping. And that was why I was over at Chris's house borrowing some of his camping gear. And I went out to a remote area, not a soul around. Now, if I really wanted to, and this was almost a 3-hour drive. So there was driving time, 6 hours of round trip driving time, plus 2 days camping. And so 3 days total, there's driving, And if I wanted to, nobody would ever know about anything I would eat or drink out there in the wilderness. Nobody would see me. Nobody would say anything. Nobody would ever know. My phone wasn't working, nothing. And I absolutely 100% stayed on track. I only brought Code Red food. I brought 2 big gallons of water. And plus I had water in the river. I had access to water in my camper van, 5 gallons of it. So I had plenty of water. I had my HydroCharge sticks for travel. And I sent you a picture. I made little burgers on the grill, like sizzling, on over the open flame. And so the older I get and the longer I do Code Red, I just don't want to take a break from caring, because I don't want to rebound. I don't want to gain any weight back, but I don't want my stomach to hurt. I don't want my head to hurt. And so that's what keeps me kind of on the straight and narrows, because I feel so good when I'm on track. And I understand taking a break from caring. I do. It's just having to get back is so hard.
I tell the ladies in my exercise class, do you know why I come every day? And they go, why? And I say, because getting in shape sucks. Nobody want to do that twice. So we've talked a lot about this, because Cristy and I have said, why do people fall off? Do they not remember how good it felt to feel so good and fit in your clothes? And Cristy, the only thing I can figure, and we've had if I had $1 for every time we've had this conversation, I would love, to have all that money, is that they do it because they feel on some level that they're missing out. Is it FOMO? The kids call it FOMO, fear of missing out. Mm-hmm. Is it that person that's not caring, they just say, I'm missing out? Or are they emotionally exhausted from the level of what it takes to try to keep losing weight, or to try to, you feel so badly about yourself being heavy, that emotional exhaustion? So what is it? Is it that you want to take a break from, or are you tired of trying to lose weight, or are you really afraid that you're never going to get to have a bite of wedding cake ever again? So I don't know what that is. I know what it was for me. For me, when I was heavy, it was this sense of, again, wanting a break from all the emotional crap behind being heavy. But now, not being heavy, sometimes when I say I'm not going to care, it's because I kind of feel like Cristy did, like on that camping trip. No one's going to see me. No one will know. But then I just feel like crap after I do it.
I was going to say, what keeps you on the straight and narrow?
Well,
you live out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows me. Knowing I have to be at your house in 3 weeks does that pretty good. Okay. Y'all. Yeah.
Code Red Events keeps hers on track.
Cristy, a couple things. Fitting into my clothes is a big thing. My clothes don't fit quite as close as your clothes. Like your clothes, mine have a little more wiggle room, but I want to be able to get dresses and look good in them and feel good about being at the events. I know I'm going to meet a lot of people. I'm going to take pictures, and I like to feel good about myself when I get on the plane, when I come to your house. We're going to be doing a retreat. There's going to be a lot of me moving and cooking and bending down and getting things and unloading cars and loading cars back up. I just like the way I feel when I'm what my grandma says, I'm at my fighting weight. Our grandma, may she rest in peace, Marie Bennett. She has gone to be with Jesus when I was pregnant with Chase. So it's been a good 23 years ago. And she used to say, after I had Courtney, I was a little heavier than I wanted to be. And she would say, oh, you'll get down to your fighting weight, Carrie, which I thought was so cute. And she just means that weight that you feel good at. When you're at your fighting weight, you can face life easier. So I don't understand what causes somebody to say 6 months of it and I'm done. Or, hey, I'm going to take a week, do whatever I want. I'm going to feel like crap, and then I'm going to get back on track. Those are different mentalities. And maybe, I don't know, if you're watching on YouTube, I'd love for you to, type below, what is it that you feel like? What's the difference? If you've ever not cared, I'd like to know kind of what you were thinking, because I can only tell you what was in my heart when I was going through it. Cristy can share her heart, but it's so different for every person. And when this person stepped away, that's fine. It just made me go, they're going to stop caring. They want to break from caring. It's kind of like, why do people binge drink on the weekends, Cristy? Like, it's the weekend. Yeah. That's an acceptable form of not caring, by the way. It's no different than overeating.
Yeah. When you think about it, abusing alcohol, abusing sugar.
Absolutely. It's the same idea.
But I guess what baffles me is the weight because I'm thinking of one person, one of our fallen rebels that has gained back 40 pounds relatively quickly. And like, you would think that they would maybe stop at 10, stop at 15, stop at 20, but they just kept it going. And I'm like, boy, they really don't give an F, do they?
No. And I don't know if it's this, like I was telling you on the cruise, like the middle fingers to the world. And I kept it together for a long time. And now I'm going to do what I want. I had a friend recently, who is not a Code Red Rebel, but still a very close friend. And I care about her a lot. And she said something very interesting to me. She had some blood work that came up that wasn't ideal. And she was going to have to start talking about dietary changes. And it was funny when I was talking to her, I was like, do you not know what I do for a living? Clearly, she's one of the most intelligent people I know ever. And she said, I don't like it that that somebody's going to tell me what to eat, that somebody gets to tell me what I can and cannot eat. Now, what's interesting about this is I wonder, Cristy, if that's what people feel like when they stop caring. I don't want somebody to tell me what I can and cannot eat. So that tells me that the Code Red lifestyle hasn't become part of who they are as people. It was just something they were doing. So I wonder if that's the key, because I will tell you, even if I eat something off, I say to myself, carry inflammatory oils, carry this, carry that. So it's not so much that Cristy in the other screen is telling me what I can and can't eat. I know what is good for my body on a basic level. And I know how I feel, and I go to bed when my tummy doesn't hurt. So it's become a part of who I am as a person. Code Red has the way of eating. So Cristy, I wonder if, is that the key? Did I just discover it? Somebody write this down.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, I mean, I know, and I don't understand, because we eat eggs and bacon and steak and asparagus and cream cheese and cottage cheese. Like, we eat really good food with butter and with salt on it. Redmond Real Salt, code red 15 for 15% off. We eat really good food with code redoliveoil.com. Okay, I'm kidding. We eat really good food. And I don't know why. I just don't like, do people want the diabetes coming back? Do they want the plantar fasciitis? Do they want the psoriatic arthritis? I just don't. I don't understand what's they're missing out on, because they're missing out on the pain. They're missing out on asking for the seatbelt extender. They're missing out on being too tired to walk up the bleachers at their grandson's soccer game. That's what they're missing out on. That's what I see it. Like, you're missing out on an early grave. So don't say, but I think you're right. I think that's like, they just don't want, they're sick of us telling them what to do.
And it has to get in your heart. Yeah. So let me give you a great example. When I go to church and the pastor says, don't be afraid, walk in faith and walk in victory, walk here. I don't go, you know what? I don't want that pastor telling me what I can and cannot do. Do you know why I believe that? Because I've got the beliefs and the relationship with Christ so deep in my heart that I don't hear a message like that and say, no man is going to tell me what to do. I don't say that, because it's not about him telling me. It's confirming what I already have in my heart. So Cristy, I wonder if some people see you or me or the coaches or the videos or the program or the food lists, and they say, because it's not in their heart yet, I don't want somebody telling me. And if I want to take a break from caring, I'm going to take a break from caring, and I'm going to buy every single candy they have. And I'm just going to lay on a bed for the weekend and roll around in it and shove it in my mouth. And I'm not joking. Like, this kind of stuff happens. And there's a big difference between Cristy grabbing and I'm making this up. She didn't do it. But for example, grabbing a bag of trail mix and being like, this weekend in Stanley, I'm eating this whole bag and I'm going to have a good time. It's a lot different than that. Or you saying, I'm going to have 2 beers on Friday night, than you saying, I'm going to go on a 3-week bender and not come up for air. I'm not going to get sober for 3 weeks, or I'm going to eat whatever I want for 2 months. Yeah. So I think not caring is fine if you need, not fine, but it's understandable if you need a break. But when people don't care big time, that's what we're talking about in this podcast.
I know on the 10-pound takedown, when I come live to you every day and I teach you something new in a new video, 50% of the 30 days, so 15 of those days, that's like more tactical and teaching you about, why we believe what we believe. But 50% of that month, you're going to spend about mental mindset. But all of it, I teach you why. I don't just say eat a high-fat diet. I say high fat is going to help regulate hormones. It's going to give you energy. It's going to help you sleep better. It's going to help your hair and nails grow. It's going to, it's going to do all these wonderful things. That's why we eat a high fat diet. So you're not just blindly following me. I'm trying to tell you, yes, we don't eat every 2 hours like the government taught us. We eat 2 or 3 meals a day, spaced 5 hours apart, to let our hormones return to baseline, because you burn fat in between the meals. The magic happens in between the meals. So once we teach you why, hopefully that will help ingrain the lifestyle into you. That way, if you step away or if you leave, or for whatever reason you feel like you got whatever, you understand the deep reasons why we believe what we believe in. And you've watched the homework and you've done the tracking, and you're a believer. I don't know. That's why it's hard for me when a coach or a mentor steps away and they gain their weight back, because it was like, you believed really, really hard.
The reason I was looking down, Cristy, is I was getting a scripture. It just occurred to me. Deuteronomy 6:9. It was talking about understanding the laws of God. And this could apply to anything. I'm not trying to say Code Red is the Bible. My God, I'm not trying to start that conspiracy, but it's the same idea, and understanding the laws of God and learning to love them and know them. And Deuteronomy 6:9 says, you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. And so that's kind of the idea, folks, is that you not only with your spiritual walk, that should be a part of your spiritual walk, but the lifestyle that you've chosen for eating is that it should be so ingrained in your heart and so a part of who you are as a person that it's almost like it's written above the doorpost in your house. It's written up there. It's written for all to see. I'm not saying hang up Rebel Strong signs, but we do have them available on the website. Now I'm doing like you, Cristy. But I'm saying that it should be that so much part of who you are. For instance, writing it above the doorpost, writing it on your heart. So it's so a part of who you are that you know, I'm not going to eat that because it has this in it. And that's only going to lead to me having this, or I have a family history of diabetes. So I'm not going to put this in my mouth. Instead, I'm going to do this. That's where I think that people fall off, even coaches, Cristy, like you're saying, that really know it. But you can know it. I'm pointing to my head and not know it. And then I'm pointing to my heart. So I don't know. I wish it were a mystery I could figure out totally, sis.
Well, that would be we could retire because we would have the answer to keep people, I don't know. It's constantly on our minds. Are you taking a break from caring? Have you felt that you went through this? And we get it. We're not judging you because we both have been there. We understand that 100%. But do you, even if you hate me, hate Code Red, hate Carrie, and you just hate it that I called you out on a video, or you don't like the direction we're going, you don't like the app, whatever you don't like about us, it's still the proper human diet. It's still the way that we as humans were created to eat, is how we've evolved to eat. Our brains are the size that they are because of an animal-based diet, because of the meat and the organs and the foods and the hunting and what we've done to get to this level. So meat, vegetables, nuts, eggs, seeds, seafoods, and fat, that's what we've been eating for a millennia. Well, longer than a millennia, since a millennia is 1,000 years, longer than that. But this is still the proper human diet. So even if you burn your Code Red Revolution book, I heard a couple of people in a town nearby hated me. They had a book burning and they burned my book. That's okay. Even if you burn the Code Red Revolution book and I find a Code Red shirt at the thrift store, you need to understand, you can't get away from the fact that ho-hos and Twinkies that's not a good, call it whatever you want, but you still need to be eating meat and vegetables with some butter and salt on it. So it's still the proper human diet, however you want to, even if you want to take a break from caring.
I'm glad you brought this up because I know that we're getting towards the end of this podcast, but I do want to say one more thing. Over the years, and Cristy knows about this, so I'm not telling her something she doesn't know. We've had people that don't like Cristy's style. That's fine. Cristy's not for everyone. We have people that don't like my style, which hurts me deeply. I'm teasing. I don't care. I'm teasing. I'm a little bit softer than Cristy, but I still have a very direct style, especially if you live in Kentucky. No, the women don't talk like this. But I would say to people that are like, I'm never coming back. And I remember when I was first working for you, I got really hurt and frustrated about this. And I talked to our dad, and my dad said, they can't throw the baby out with the bathwater because the nutritional principles are still true, even if you don't like Cristy. So I'm saying the same thing Cristy said, but I want to tell you that if you have gone away from Code Red, you hate us, you have written bad reviews, you have burned your Code Red, the nutritional principles still stand. If you don't ever want to lose it, if you don't ever want to do a 10-pound day, it's what Cristy is teaching is still right, even if you don't like the style. And I think some people stop caring, Cristy, because they don't care for our style of delivering the message. But the message is no less true just because you don't like the style. And if that's what's keeping you from caring, then you have to stop, because this is not about you liking us. This is about you saving your own life.
Well, that is an excellent place to stop. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, taking a break from caring. At least, did it resonate with you? Have you been there? We get it. We know this is probably what you're thinking, because then I'm really glad that Carrie, being a former heavy person, she can understand, and I certainly understand. So I hope this resonated with you. And thank you so much for watching and listening, you guys. We will see you on the next episode. Have a good one. Hey, I'm Cristy Code Red, and thank you for listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. If you want to stay connected to other rebels like you, join us in our private network. Our Code Red app is a one-stop shop, free from ads, algorithms, and censorship, and a place where you can see, listen, and watch everything Code Red. You'll be encouraged, motivated, and fired up to stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Get recipe ideas, tips, tricks, and help from coaches, mentors, and other rebels. You can also purchase products, programs, and coaching all right there in one place. And if you have any trouble navigating the app, we're right there to help you. Go to coderedlifestyle.com/APP to join for free. And I'll see you on the next episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle.